I'm not even going to waste your time with this one. The race went more or less about how most people would have expected it to. When the gun goes off, everybody shoots through to the turn, but for the most part, we're expecting Shericka Jackson to emerge in front, which is exactly what happens. Because by the time you're on the home straight, she's out in front and only does one thing. She pulls away from the field. So when that happens, everybody's looking at the clock, because when Shericka Jackson is running, we should know by now, you're watching the queen of the women's 200. I mean, again, nobody in this generation, even close, has been able to break 21.5 except her. All that being said, of course she wins the race, but the clock says 22.53. And my brain is processing it under a lot of different parameters, because on one end, I know that this season is long, and even the Jamaican announcers remind me of that. I totally get it, that when it comes to track and field, and specifically sprinting, different nations have a very different approach to how they look at the season. And when you put world championships on the pedestal and say this is what matters, then all the races that we're doing right now are really just practice runs, especially when we're still 2 to 3 months out. However, if you're going to run fast at a championship, normally we're going to see people take steps towards it. And Shericka Jackson going 22.5 is a far cry away from 21.5, 21.4 in the times we've seen from her. I totally understand that that's where we are perhaps in the season, but what does it actually mean? Because nobody in that field, just being honest, had the talent to run with her. The women's 200 was essentially the Shericka Jackson show, and once again, the way the announcers portrayed the event was more or less on that same train. Again, everybody else was just there as, chess pieces for her to move around on. But this race tells us a whole lot more if you actually pay attention to who was on the line. Because Kyaja Chandler was there, as well as Nisha Berger. And when you look at the world leaderboards right now in the women's 200, both of those women are ahead of where Shericka Jackson is right now. Although she's technically ranked 23rd. Even if you discount, we're not even going to worry about where the season is and how deep the season's going to go. Take all of those arguments off the table. Just talk about the races we have up until this point. Nisha Berger and Kyaja Chandler are higher than Shericka Jackson on the world leaderboards. And she just beat them pretty handily. When it comes to Nisha Berger, whether you like it or not, the facts are the facts. With the time she put down this year running in a UTEP uniform in the NCAA, she is technically the fastest Jamaican on the boards in the women's 200. Again, from the races that we actually have to go off of, her name is at the top of that list. Everybody else on the leaderboards who is ahead of Shericka Jackson right now, I'm going to give you the names because they're not that hard for me to remember. 15 American women, which is normal because American women run the 200. 15 American women are between her and number one. Remember, Shericka Jackson is right around 23rd right now with this performance, which is a season best for what it is. Remember, the Americans only can send 3 people to the Worlds. And as far as I know, Shericka Jackson herself has a bye/wild card to the World Championships because she won it in 2023. So if that's the case, there's only 3 Americans we got to worry about. So forget about all those names between her and the top. There's only 3 of them who are actually going to go. So just say 3 Americans. Doesn't really matter what their names are, even though we know it's likely going to be Gabby Thomas and friends. But if you're new here, I want to say thank you for even making it this far into the video. And I'm Coach Rob, and if you really want to know what's going on with the fastest athletes in the world, then you are in the right place. And if anything that I say actually connects with you, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe. But if I don't, just let me know in the comment section because I try to read them all. Everybody else who's on that board, these are the names. Mara Lady Paulino was one of them, as well as Salwa Eid Nasser. Both of them ran 200 at Grand Slam. They're 400-meter runners who are likely going to focus on that at the Worlds. So you ain't got to worry about them regardless of how fast they're going to go. There's only one more name that I actually got to give you because when you skip over the Jamaicans who are on that list, because Shericka just beat them, the faster Jamaicans who are on that list. She just did it. Now you're left with one name. And it's Julian Alfred, who in 21.88 seconds earlier this year, and also faced off with Shericka earlier this year in a 300 and won. That brings us to the real conversation. Because remember, Shericka Jackson is the reigning world champion. The only thing missing on her report at this point, she got really close to the world record in the 200, and Maybe she will, maybe she won't break it, but I mean, she definitely had 2 great shots added. But she's just adding to her chest of gold medals when it comes to the 200-meter dash. That's all she's doing. And we're really just waiting for her to get the Olympic gold medal that she always deserved. Because, once again, I'm going to repeat, nobody in the world has her type of talent when it comes to the women's 200. But with what Julian Alfred has already shown us, we know that although we're not aware, like we don't have confidence or we don't have the facts yet that she can go 21.4, we do know she can go 21.8 and perhaps even faster. So Shericka Jackson is going to have to go faster than that in all likelihood if she wants to get the gold medal. And like I said, America's going to send 3 people over to the Worlds when it's all done. Gabby Thomas is likely one of them, who's already gone 21.9. I highly doubt Melissa Jefferson Wooden is coming, even though she's also going 21.9 now. I mean, she's going to probably focus on the 100, but in theory, she could show up as well. And when you keep on looking down, I'm pretty sure we're going to find somebody else who can run that event at a very high clip. I mean, hey, you could take your pick. It could be a Navia Battle. It could be Mackenzie Long, who made the Olympic team last year. I mean, there's a whole bunch of names we could run with. It could even be Sha'Carri Richardson herself if she decides to go for the 200. I mean, on talent, she could do it, and she's done it in the past. But if none of that actually matters, if Shericka Jackson shows up at the World Championships in September, the month that everybody keeps talking about, and runs like herself, I repeat, none of this is actually going to matter if she pulls that part off. So now that the Racers Grand Prix is done, which is a big race on the calendar, not just for Jamaica, but for the sprinting community, because whatever happens there is essentially a warning shot about what we can expect going forward. The only thing that matters to this moment is you can throw the times out of the window, because when we put women who are faster on the leaderboards than Shericka Jackson actually in the race with her, she ran away from them. That is very important. Now that she's putting away those fields, again, forget about the leaderboard and forget about the times, we can now move to the real conversation, because she might be 23rd on the leaderboards right now, but like I said, that is a lie. The 15 Americans, really only 3. Again, mathematically, when you get to the world, it's only going to be 3 of them. If you take all of them out, and then take out the 400 runners who don't run the 200, again, aren't going to run it at Worlds, and then excuse all the people she already beat, you're just left with Julian Alfred and 3 Americans. That is it. Shericka Jackson is essentially a lock to be in the 200-meter final, even if she doesn't run that well. That's what I'm trying to say. So there's no reason to press the panic button or concern on the clock that she's run, or not that most people were, especially the Jamaican community, but it puts it all in perspective to have real data to go off of, not just blind confidence in her talent. At this point in the year, we now have some real data to go off of, that she's going to be fine at least to that point. But that's not what the standard is for Shericka Jackson. The standard is to get a gold medal, again, and perhaps even take a crack at a world record while she does it. That is the standard, and because of Gabby Thomas, and because of Julian Alfred, the 2 women who've already broke the 22-second barrier this year, we know that Shericka Jackson is going to have to go, still, a lot faster than what we just saw. I'm sure that is the plan, and she's got a whole lot of things that are going to probably happen that are scheduled out between now and the moment when she needs to give it to us. But those things are going to happen, and they're still going to happen fast, because the months are counting down, and we are in the month of June, considering we're going to have to wait for at least a few more months to see the race that everybody actually wants to see. This Racers Grand Prix race for Shericka Jackson is going to have to suffice. Shericka Jackson is back, even if the clock isn't announcing it yet. And there's really nobody else in the world who is going to stop her, especially if she goes out there and runs like herself in that one race when the entire world is watching. The sport of track and field is not just about running fast. It is about doing it over and over and over again, because whenever you step to the line, your reputation is on the line as well. With the Wake Up, Run Fast, and Repeat shirt, you can make it clear that running faster than the competition is a habit. Get yours at scarecruiting.com/shop or use the link in the description below. It's a huge support to me and this channel, so I can continue to make you more content like this. And remember, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe.